Hello my dear students, welcome to my channel DigiTeach. I am Sanjukta Kaur, a postgraduate teacher in computer science. Here in my channel, you will get all the videos of CBSE syllabus for class 11th and 12th computer science with Python. In this video, I will discuss some MCQs type of questions for your term 1 board examination. So students, watch the video till end so that your doubts will be totally cleared, and you can share the video with your friends also so that they will get benefit from this video, and definitely comment it, and if you have not subscribed my channel, so that you will subscribe it so that you will get the new videos, right students. And you can ask your queries in my comment section so that it will be cleared in my upcoming videos. So students, thank you. Let us discuss the questions. Consider a declaration T equal to, that is square bracket start, within square bracket 1 Python, then 3.14. So this is the declaration of this variable T. Which of the following represents the data type of T? Right students, what is my question? Question number 1 says already one declaration you have now, then you have to identify what is the data type of T. Is it a list, is it a tuple, or a dictionary, or a string? So this one is very simple question students. T equal to, within square bracket I have written the elements, is not it? So you have to identify from this that if you will declare a variable and you will store the values or elements within square bracket, then obviously that variable data type is list type. Okay, so the option A is your correct answer. The T variable is what type of data type? The T variable is a list type, right students. Then question number 2 says, given a tuple top1 equal to parenthesis start parenthesis close, and within parenthesis some elements are there, is not it? That is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So you know that when you declare a tuple, then you have to store the elements within the parenthesis, that means round bracket start and round bracket close, and we have to use the comma operator so that we can separate each elements from each other, right students. So this is the example of one tuple variable. Now we have to find out what is the output of print top1, then within a square bracket 2:7. So which one is the value, which one is the output? So 2 is the, this one is known as what? Range. Within the range you have to find out the output. So starting range is your in 2 and end range is your 7, that means top range is 7, right students. So you know that the index number of a tuple starts from 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. So this is your starting index number 0. Now you have to find out the element from index number 2. Okay, do you know which one is the element in index number 2? That is 15. Okay, and you have to move forward from 15 to, that means index number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 40 is the element which is stored in index number 7. So stop index number is 7, but students you can't access the element of 2 stop index number. So stop index number -1, whatever the stop index number you have, that means you have to move forward up to stop index number -1, that means 7 minus 1, 6. So you have to access the element from index number 2 to 6, right? So index number 2, 15 is there, next 20, 25, 30 and 35. So your answer is option B, that is 15, 20, 25, 30 and 35, right students. So let us discuss the two questions, question number 1 and question number 2. practically, right students? Question number 1 says, if you will declare any element within, that means you will store the elements, and your elements, you have to store the elements within square bracket, right students? See, if you declare a variable, that is t is a variable, now you have to declare this t variable with some elements like 10, whatever the number of elements. You can store any integer elements as well as you can store any string type of element, different types of elements you can store. But if you will store the elements within square bracket, then what type of variable is that? Okay. So, this is your question 1, that in question 1 we have stored the elements integer, float and string type of element within square bracket, right students? So, as I told that square bracket means the variable is list type. Then how can you confirm that this one is the list type? Then type function you have. Type function is used to display the data type of the variable, right? Variable or value also. So, now here you just check that what is the data type of t. Now it is list type, right students? So, question number 1, the answer was list. Next is question number 2. Here you have to declare one variable top 1, and within round bracket we have to store the elements 10, 20, 10, next is 15, then 20, I think it is started from 5, okay. So, 5, 10, 15, 20, then 25, right students, 25, next is 30, next is 35, next 40, next is 45, like this. So many elements that whatever the number of elements, that does not matter how many elements you are going to store, right students. But here what is the thing, that how many elements you have stored in that tuple t top 1. Here this one is the data type, that is of tuple type, right students. Why it is an example of tuple? Because here I have stored the elements within parenthesis, within round bracket. You can check the same. So, this is the difference between list and tuple. List is mutable, tuple is immutable. But another difference is that in list we have to store the elements within square bracket, but in tuple within round bracket we have to store the elements. So, you can check the data types of this top 1. Top 1 is the name of variable, right students. So, now it is a tuple type, right. You can access the elements of a list of a tuple by using the index number, okay. So, here this 5 element, that one is the first element having index number 0, this is index number 1, this is index number 2, this is index number 3 and so on. This is the forward indexing concept. Similarly, another indexing concept do we have, that one is backward indexing concept. So, backward indexing concept says that the last element having the index number -1, similarly second last element having the index number -2, then this one is -3 and so on, right students. So, you can access the elements by using the index number. For example, variable name is top 1. Now, you have to use this square bracket, and within square bracket you need to write the index number, right. If top 1 of 0, that means it is 5. So, similarly top 1 of 1 index number, that is 10, top 1 of 2, that is 15 and so on. Now, our question was, you can access the elements individually, similarly you can access the elements within the range also, okay. Then how will you access the elements within the range? So, here top 1, then square bracket start, suppose starting index number is 2 and stop index number is 7, then you have to close the square bracket, right student. That means you want to access the elements from index number 2 to index number 7 minus 1. That means here one important thing you need to remember, that if you are giving the stop index number 7, that does not mean that you can access the elements from that index number 7 up to index number 7. No, that means you can access the elements up to index number, stop index number -1, that means up to 6, right students. So, let us execute the same. So, here you can see the element, that is 15, here 15 having index number 2, and this 35, that is index number 6, that means stop index number -1. So, your answer is 15, 20, 25, 30 and 35, right students. So, let us discuss the question number 3. Now, question number 3 says the return type of the input function is string type, integer type, list type, tuple type. Students, you need to remember the input function returns a string type. You have to remember, but you have the option that you can typecast the value. If your input function returns a string type, after that you can typecast the value. So, the return type of a function returns that string type. So, option A is the correct answer. This one is very important question students. Now, question number 4. Which of the following stores a single element in a tuple? Right students, this one is also one amazing question. Okay, very interesting question. How can you store a single element in a tuple? Right students, actually the option is t equal to 5 comma, option A says t equal to within parenthesis 5 comma, option B says t equal to only 5 but within parenthesis, option C says t equal to within square bracket 5, no, that one is a list. Similarly, t equal to 5 but curly bracket here I have used, so that one is wrong. Okay. So, now your option may be A, option may be B. Okay. So, let us do the same question practically. Here I want to discuss very important thing. Here suppose one variable, that is t equal to, if you are using that 5, okay, within bracket, within round bracket you have stored 5. So, you are just thinking that yes, I have used the round bracket, so there is no problem. Now, I have stored the element within round bracket. So, this is the example of tuple, but let us check the data type of this t. Now, you can see the data type of this t is actually not the tuple type, but it is the integer type, is not it? So, class int, that means when you declare a single variable within a round bracket, that does not mean that that one is the tuple type of variable, but that one is one integer type. Then how do you declare one tuple variable with a single element? Here option is that you have to use the parenthesis start parenthesis clause, that means round bracket. Now, you have to write the single element also, then put a comma. So, when you put a comma, that means now this t is not the integer data type, but this t is tuple data type, right students. So, here you can check the same, what is the data type of variable t? Now, it is the tuple type. So, students, I think all of you clear your doubt, what is the difference between that round, within round bracket. If you are writing a single value, but no comma is there, then that one is integer type, but if you are putting the comma, then that will be the tuple type, right students. And previous question was what that input function returns, right. So, here input function returns a string type. Let us check this. Suppose x is the variable name. Now, I have to use this input function, input, then enter a number. If you are just receiving your number also, then also that that will be a string type. Okay. So, now suppose 16, I have given 16. Now, you can check what is the data type of that x variable. Okay. Then you can see that class string type, right students. So, you can check what is the value of x. See, 16 is given, but within single quotes, that means you know that within single quotes, within double quotes, you can get the string data type. Okay, you can declare the string literal. So, this is the string type. So, input function returns a string type always, but if you want to use in that proper format, then you have to typecast that. For example, suppose the value of x is now is a string. Now how do you convert this and how do you use this? Suppose you want to add the value of x to 10, right? So 10 plus, typecast it, that means int of x, that means int of x means now it is 16, integer 16. So you can use now, that means what I have done now, that is already I have typecasted it. This is that explicitly typecasting, that initially x contains a string value, now I have typecasted it into integer type. Then I have used that, I have used it mathematical operators also, right students? Let us discuss next question. Now question number 5. Question number 5 says, which of the following symbol returns the output in integer form? Okay. So here I think already we have discussed that division operator, this single slash is known as division operator. Division operator always returns a float type of value, right? But float division operator, that is option C says float division, double slash is used for float division operator. So float division operator truncate the fractional part and it returns a whole number, that means integer number, right, without fractional part. So option C is your correct answer, and option B, this is invalid. Option D, that hash sign is used to write a single line comment, right students? So which is that operator which returns the output in integer form, that is float division operator. Then question number 6, what is the output of following code, that is t equal to 10. Already we have discussed the question students, is not it? So t equal to 10, no comma is there. So t is what type of value? T is integer type of value. Now print t double asterisk mark 2, that means this double asterisk mark is used for to get the power of, that means t to the power 2. So if the value of t equal to 10, then this t double asterisk mark 2 means t to the power 2, so that is 10 to the power 2. So 10 to the power 2 means the answer is 100. So option C is your correct answer, right students? Hope all of you understood the concept. Next question number 7, evaluate the following expression and identify the correct answer. One mathematical expression we have, but here int keyword is there, is not it? So x equal to int 13.25 plus 4 divided by 2. So here two important things I need to discuss. First one is precedence of operator and second one is typecasting. So in this expression you can see that is 4 divided by 2 and plus operator is there. So division and plus operator is there, and you know that the precedence, the higher precedence is the division operator, that means division operator has higher precedence as compared to addition operator. So here first you need to divide, that you have to get the answer of 4 divided by 2, that is 2. After that but that is not 2 again, that is 2.0, because division operator always gives us the answer as float number. So 4 division divided by 2, that is 2.0, and 2.0 plus 13.25, that is 15.25 here. So actually answer is 15.25, but see students, here one int keyword is there, that means whatever the answer you are getting, now you have to convert that fractional number into integer part. So 15.25, that means 15 is the whole number. So now int convert that fractional number into whole number, so only 15 will come. So your answer is option C, that is 15, right students? So let us discuss the question practically, both question number 6 and question number 7, right students? Right. In question number 7, so one variable, that is x equal to int. Int means already before that bracket I have written the keyword int. So it is the concept of typecasting. So this is 13.25 plus 4 divided by 2, is not it? So your answer is just write the value of x, now it is 15, is not it? But how? See students, 4 divided 5 divided by 2, that is 2, 2.0 because division operator always gives us the answer as float number. So, we have got 2.0. Now, 13.25 plus 2.0, then that is 15.25, but actual answer is 15.2.25. Now, what I have done, that I have typecasted into int type. Okay. So, just you see what is the value of integer value of 15.25. Now, it is only 15. So, your answer is 15 only. So, in this way our interpreter has done the work internally, right students. So, you need to remember that operator precedence part, that means division operator having higher precedence than your additional operator. So, first you need to do the division, and division always gives us the answer as fractional number. After that I have typecasted, then typecasted it into int. So, you will get the answer as whole number, right students. And question number 6, says, that is, if you are declaring a variable t equal to 10, right students, 10 means only one integer value because no comma is there. So, do not confuse, okay. Do not be confused here, because without comma, if you are just storing an element within parenthesis, then that one is the integer type. After that, if you want to get that t double asterisk mark 2, that means now you want to find out the value of t to the power 2. So, t to the power 2 is what? 10 to the power 2, that is your 100, right students. So, question number 6 and question number 7, hope all of you understood the concept. Let us discuss the next question. Now, question number 8, which one of the following is not a keyword? This one is very simple students, just I discussed already. So, here keywords, that if is a keyword, for is a keyword, else is a keyword. Option C, that is your while, right students. While is also a keyword student, but here that while started from a capital W, okay. So, capital W is not allowed, okay. So, 3 keywords are there having the starting character as capital, and you have to remember what are these: true, then false and none. Other than these 3 keywords, all the keywords are in small letters. So, you need to remember that thing. So, here answer is while, option C. Then let us discuss the next question. Question number 9. Question number 9 says, suppose t equal to 1, 2, 4, 3 within round bracket, which of the following is incorrect? We have to now identify which one is the incorrect option. Print t of 3, okay. So, 0, this 1 is at index number 0, index number 2, index number 3, index number 0, 1, 2, 3. So, 0 index number 1 is there, 1 index number 2 is there, 2 index number 4 is there, and 3 index number 3 is there. So, this one is valid, and you can, if you will print the statement, then you will get the answer 3. Then option B says t of 3 equal to 45. That means here 3 is there, index number 3 is there, but you want to change this 3 into 45, but you can't, right students. And print max of t, you can get the maximum element. Which one is the maximum element? That is 4. So, here 4 will be the answer. Print len of t, you can get the total number of elements, that is 4. So, you can get the answer 4. But option B is not correct, right. So, option B is the answer. Let us do the same thing practically. Students, if I will declare a variable, tuple type of variable, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have stored some elements. So, this is the type of tuple, and you know that how can you confirm that this is the type of tuple type, that round bracket I have started, is not it. So, you know that tuple is what type of data type? Tuple is immutable data type. So, let us access the value. You can access the value by using this square bracket. So, here within square bracket you can put the index number. If you want to access the value at index number 0, these are known as value or elements or item also, okay. So, 1 is one value or item or element. So, in index number 0, see students, variable name, square bracket start, square bracket close. Here if you are writing any number, then that indicates to the index number itself. Okay, so t of 0, that means at index number 0 which element is there? 1 is there. At index number 2 which element is there? That is 3 is there, right students? So 0, 1, 2, these are the index number. Now you can access the value by using index number. Similarly, you can print the maximum value, largest element. Okay, so by using the built-in function, that is max of t. So this is also valid students, that is 6. 6 is the largest element among all these elements in your tuple variable. Similarly, len function. Len is also one built-in function. Your len function just gives the result, the total number of elements, how many elements are there, the total number is provided by the len function. So how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 elements are there. So here answer is 6. So max function is also valid, len function is also valid. Now that invalid option, tuple is immutable data type, is not it? That means you cannot change the value in place. That means if you have already stored at index number 0, 1 you have stored, index number 1, 2 you have stored, index number 2, 3 you have stored, that means you cannot change these values, right students? So if you will try to change the value, suppose index number 3, 4 is there, is not it? Let us access the value. Now you want to change the value of index number 3 to 40. Okay, then this one is error. That means tuple does not support item assignment. That means you cannot change the value in place, right students? So hope all of you understood the concept. Question number 10 says, if x equal to computer book, then len of x will give the answer 12, 14 or 13 or none of these. So what will be the answer students? Here you need to remember that len function will just give the total number of characters, whatever the characters you have stored in that double quotes or single quotes or triple quotes, is not it? So try to count the total number of elements, how many characters are there. So here it is a string type, right students? So let us discuss the question number 10, that is, if x equal to within quotes computer book space is also there, then what is the len of x? Okay, len means length. Len function provides the total number of characters in a string. Here how could you know that this is a string? Because I have used the double quotes. Similarly, if you are using single quotes, then also that one is a string. If you are using triple quotes, then also that one is a string. Okay, so let us count the total number of characters here, including space, including special symbols, all the things. So here in computer 8 number of characters are there, in book 4 number of characters are there, and here one space is there students. So total number of characters are 13. Don't include these double quotes, starting double quotes and ending double quotes. Okay, the double quotes indicates that you are declaring a string literal, so we will not include these quotes, right? So whatever the characters are there, then we will count only those characters, including spaces, including digits, including special characters, etc. So here the answer is 13. Now question number 11. Select correct boolean literals. Boolean literals, already students we have discussed, we have two boolean literals, one is true, another one is false. But as you know that true means 3 keywords are there, these are keywords also. So 3 keywords are there having the starting character as capital letter, right students? So boolean literals true and false having the starting character as capital letter. So here true, first option says all are small, no. Second option says all are capital, that is also no. Third says false, okay. But false is also boolean literal, but it is in false, means small letter, so it is also not. Option D, that is true, but true starting character is capital letter, so this D is the correct answer, right students? You have to identify the same. True is a keyword because this one is a boolean literal and having the starting character as capital letter, right? Now question number 12. Question number 12 says, what will be the output of the following code top 1 equal to 257 and 956 382 one already one tuple we have declared with some elements. Now print top 1 of 1 colon 7 colon 2. That means we are going to access the range of values. So 1 is the starting range, 7 is the end or stop range, that means stop range minus 1, up to that you can access the elements. But what is 2? So 2 is the step value. Okay, in this video already we have discussed one question that step value was not there. So if step value was not there, then that one is by default, that means one element you have to move at a time. But if step value is given, that means you have to move that number of elements. Okay, so you have to start just to find out that elements from index number 1. So index number 1 5 is there. Now next element is 7, but you need not to access 7. Why? Because you have to move next element. That means this is 1 after 2 elements. That means which one is the second move? That is 9. So just leave the first move, then catch the second move, because two steps you need to move. Okay, so 5, next is 9, next is 3, okay, up to 6 index number. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 having 6 index number. So up to 3 you will access the elements, but the step value is 2. So next to next element you have to access. So here 5 will come, 9 will come. This is your 1 index number. So 5 will come, then 9 will come, next 6 will come. Right students? So your answer is 5, 9 and 6. So option A is your correct answer. Let us do the same practically, because this one is a question having step value. Right students, let us discuss a tuple t equal to any value, suppose 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Some number of elements already I have stored in a variable t. That t is a tuple data type because I have used the parenthesis. Right students? Now I want to access the elements within a range. So if you want to access the elements within the range, then first of all you have to use the square bracket, then you have to write the index number. Okay, so if I want to access the elements from starting index number 3 to end index number 8. Okay, so here no step value is given. Okay, so 3 index number is what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 50, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 index number is not there. Right students? So let us change that index number to 7. So because total number of elements are 8, so up to 7 index number we will use the up to 7 index number. Okay, so here t starting index number 3 and index number 7. So we know that up to 7 index number, if I have given the stop range 7, that means up to 6 I can access the element. Step value is not given. So the default step value is 1. Right students? So let us get the elements. Just execute it. Now you can see 50, 60, 70, 80. Why? Because 0, 1, 2, 3. So 50 is having that index number 3. In index number 3, 50 is there. 4, 60 is there. And index number 5, 70 is there. Index number 6, that is 80 is there. So up to index number 6 I can access the elements. But students, if I will use the step value, then you see here I want to use the step value 1 only. So the same answer you will get, because if you are giving the step value as 1 and if you are not giving the step value, then the answer will be same. So by default step value is 1. Right students? Now if you are giving the step value or changing the step value to 2, then you see what is the difference. Your step value is 2, is not it? Now you see you can access the element from starting index number 3. So your starting index number 3 is 50 is there. Now next element will be 70 because step value is 2. So next to next element you have to access. Okay, so your answer is, you see, only 50 and 70. Right students? Because step value already we have given, and stop index number is your 6. So up 3 to 6 you have to access the element. So, when you have the step value, then according to the step value you have to jump the elements, right students. Hope all of you understood the concept. Now, question number 13 says, what is the answer to this expression? 22 modulus operator 3. This percentage sign, students, is used for getting the remainder of a division. Try to remember modulus operator, percentage sign is known as modulus operator, that one is one mathematical operator, but here modulus operator is used to find out the remainder of a division. That means you have to divide 22 by 3. So, 3 7s are 21. So, your remainder is 1. So, the answer is option C, is not it? Hope all of you understood. Now, question number 14, which of the following statement assign the value 56 to the variable x in Python? Very simple question. How do you assign a value 56 to a variable x? Okay. So, in Python, Python is a programming language, so we have to follow the syntax. So, here you have to use x arrow mark 56, no, this is wrong. B x equal to 56, yes, this one is correct. X colon equal to 56, no. D int x equal to 56, no, this is the declaration in C and C++ language. So, this one is not there in our, this concept is not there in our Python programming language. So, very simple, Python is a very simple programming language having a simpler syntax. So, here x equal to 56. So, in this way you can assign a value to a variable, right students. So, the answer is option B. Now, question number 15. 15 says L equal to square bracket start 489 2.6 5 square bracket close is a type of which data type in Python. Okay, very simple students, already I discussed that if you are storing the elements within square bracket, then that is the data type of list. So, your answer is list. Tuple, here we need to use that round bracket. String, we have to use the single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes. So, here the answer is list type. Then question number 16, how can we create an empty list in Python? This one is important also. How can you create an empty list in Python? So, here list parenthesis start parenthesis close, no. B equal to null, no. C equal to only list, no. But D equal to list equal to just curly bracket square bracket start square bracket close. That means this is the example that you can create one empty list in Python, right students. And let us do the questions practically. Okay, first question was modulus operator. If you are using that 22 mod 7, this is known as modulus operator to find the remainder of a division. So, very simple. Then second question was that list type. Okay, so how do you declare one empty list? Just write the variable name and this curly bracket start and curly bracket close. Now, this one is the empty list type of variable. You can check the value, you can check the type of L. Okay, type function. So, type of L, here parenthesis required. So, type of L. Now, you can check this one is the list type, but having no element, is not it? So, list is what type of variable? This is one empty type of variable. Now, question number 17, if x equal to 3.123, then int x will give, already we have discussed students, if x equal to 3.123, that is one fractional number, but if you are typecasting this fractional number into integer type, then your answer will be only whole part, that means that is 3 only. So, D is the correct answer, because fractional number is there in x. Now, you have to convert that fractional into int. So, you will get only 3. Now, question number 18 says correct way to declare a variable x of float data type in Python. So, what is the correct way? How do you declare a float data type in Python, and that variable name is x, right students? So, x equal to 2.5, this is the valid option. Float x equal to 2.5, no, this is that declaration type in C, C++ programming language. And float 2.5, no, this one is also, this one is valid, you will not get any error, but in this way you cannot declare the variable, because here I have not written any variable name. So, the option A is only the valid option, right. Question number 9, which line of code produces an error? Very important, students. Python MCQ plus 12, okay. Python MCQ is a string type, 12 is also another string type. So, this is valid, thus this plus is not a mathematical operator, but now that plus is one string operator, that is concatenation operator. That means this concatenation operator will join the two strings, right. Similarly, option B says Python MCQ, that is a string plus 16 integer. No, you cannot add a string and an integer. So, option B is wrong. 3 plus 7 both are integers, so it is valid. Option answer is 10. D option, Python MCQ plus 21, but double quotes, single quotes we have used, so both are string, so that is joining operator. So, here the option B is not correct, right, students. Let us do the same practically. See, if you will just at first I want to use the addition operator. If both are string or both are float, then it is okay, there is no problem. If both are string, for example Python MCQ, okay, this is one string variable. Now you have to just use the plus operator. This plus operator is actually known as the joining operator, concatenation operator. Any number, any digit you can keep, there is no problem. 15. So, now you can join these two strings, that is Python MCQ 15. So, this plus is what type of operator now? If you are using the plus operator, addition operator within two strings, then that one is known as concatenation operator, just it join the two strings together, right, students. And what is that error part? Let us discuss. So, if one string we have, that is Python, this is a string, plus if you want to add the string with an integer, then this one is wrong, okay. That means you cannot add any string to any integer, okay. So, this one is wrong, you have to remember, right, students. And hope all of you understood the concept. Let us discuss the next question. What is the value of expression 10 plus 3 double asterisk mark 3 again asterisk mark 2? Very simple question, students. Here more than one mathematical operators we have. So, if you have more than one mathematical operators, then you need to find out the precedence, okay. So, you know that exponentiation operator having higher precedence. So, find out the exponentiation of 3 to the power 3. So, it is 27. After that, multiplication operator. So, multiplication operator, that means 27 multiplied 2, that is 54. Then addition operator, that is 54 plus 10, that is 64. So, your answer is 64. So, with this I just complete this video. So, next video again I will discuss some MCQ type of questions having higher concepts, right, students, advanced concepts. So, hope all of you just clear your doubt and implement all the things in your questions, okay. Practice more and more questions and implement the concepts to all those questions, right, students. So, in next video, just watch the next video, then having some higher concepts, obviously that video is also very much informative to you, right, students. So, stay tuned. Thank you. Take care, students.